this Grunt that used to be like the weak link of my army, look what happens with Soulburn. Nope, Grunt can turn back and fight. You know, I like micro a bit literally just to lead the Demon Hunter in more, because once it runs out, yep.
Thirsty.
This is the heart and soul of the strategy. Nice situation. What happens? Moonwells drained. Uh-oh. Empty Moonwells. It's almost as if at this point, my tempo healing cell was, come on, their workers can't even attack. We gotta take advantage of that. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Nick Oldhead video. We are excited about this one because, let's be honest, it's Warcraft 3, right? It's Orc. We're against a Night Elf. What's not to be excited about? It's either going to be the most brutally painful game in my life, in which everything is frustrating and it seems as if the Night Elf can do whatever they want, or I say, hey, I'm not going to go for any of that, and I'm going to Firelord rush you with 2 Grunts. Well, this game, 35 seconds has passed, and we're already 1 Night Elf hand's worth of time elapsed. So you know, guess what strategy I'm going. It's clearly the barracks first Firelord rush. So we're actually going to spend some time really, like, I don't know, going over this rush, because it's something I play all the time, and I think at my MMR, the more I get better at it, the more I fine-tune it, the more I'm going to win against Night Elf opponents who aren't ready for it. Now, the worst thing that can happen, because if you're watching this video, you know what, I'm going to take a healthy gander that you're interested in trying this particular build. If you're into this, watch out for Keeper of the Grove, right? You want to see the Demon Hunter, right? You want the, you want to see the Warden. That's the best possible scenario. But the Demon Hunter is the whole point of this strategy. You want to be using Soulburn to heavily negate that hero's strength. You don't want to see Keeper of the Grove, because Keeper of the Grove means these 2 Grunts are like, just free experience for that Keeper once it gets level 2. So the Grunts have to go and creep on their own, and that's not really what the Firelord wants. So it changes into a different game. You go Lava Spawns and Incinerate, and you're just trying to out-creep the Keeper, so you can do a tempo push Tower Rush situation at level 3. That's kind of the 8-minute tempo attack you can do. But this is also something that I am not quite pleased with. This voodlounge is too late here. It's too late. Now, I love the shop here because you can load up on items the moment you get your Firelord out, but that's if it's on time. The ideal situation is this peon that finishes is the one that buys the hero. So by the time the Grunt is here, if you get the last hit chop on any of these creeps, your hero actually gets experience. But, you know, just the way it works, I didn't do that. But I really think I can, right? The fact that I have excess lumber here means that this voodlounge could have been up earlier, perhaps. And, you know, there are other things in the build that can probably wait. Like, for example, this burrow, while important, isn't necessary right here. So you may just, you know, like, use those resources earlier. And I think also what slowed this down was the peon walking time. You need to make the earlier commitment to build the voodlounge earlier. So I digress. The second Grunt is out, and because I see this timing, the second Grunt is rallied to buy the hero. So that's just something on the fly. Now in this situation, all right, you see this situation so often when you do this first Grunt thing. You got a Grunt, you have backpack, and you see the situation, right? This is great because the item creep is still alive. That's what you want. You know, so this is still in play. The Demon Hunter can't just take this, and you have to contest with the Grunt. So no matter what happens, you're slowing them down. That's step 1, right? The Demon Hunter is not just immediately able to creep this and go on to creep 2 because your Grunt is doing something. But unfortunately, if the Troll Trapper is still alive, here's how this AI works. If your Grunt gets within like this range, and I think issues an attack command, look at that. The Troll just comes out of nowhere, says, no, whatever I'm going to do is ensnare. Because, see, I attacked a unit that was already engaged with it. So now the Grunt gets ensnared. Not the worst, because, hey, this Grunt's just trying to delay. So all this is delayed. That a Demon Hunter could have been attacking this, but now it's not. You see where I'm here, this voodlounge could have been earlier, and then I get the item buy, but it's not. This is totally fine here. I don't mind this because we're slowing down, and here we come for the kill. I'm trying to jockey for position here. He probably sees that. And this is pretty close, you know. This is the opportunity, this chop. If I can get it in between the archer shot and maybe a high roll, That was the opportunity, but I miss it and I don't get the item. But here's where the Soulburn comes in. So really think about what happened. This Grunt, his whole job was to delay this. Whole job was to delay the Demon Hunter, keep him here. You know, don't go off just to creep these or creep somewhere else and I don't know where you are. No, just stay here. And when that happens, look, this Grunt that used to be like the weak link of my army, look, oh, I'm going to attack this Grunt. Look what happens with Soulburn. Nope, Grunt can turn back and fight. You know, I like micro a bit literally just to lead the Demon Hunter in more, because once it runs out, yep. This is the heart and soul of the strategy. The heart and soul of the strategy was that like interaction. The fact that the Demon Hunter just does negative damage at this stage of the game. It's very frustrating. They don't expect it. And the whole time I'm just pouring damage into this Demon Hunter. Right? And as I'm pouring damage into this Demon Hunter, remember the backpack? Well, that's what this Grunt's going to do now. Because I didn't have time to buy items, this Grunt is heading straight back there to buy items and pick up salves, which is especially good because look, the Night Elf is literally tapped out of Moonwell juice. So this is how I want my elves. By 3 minutes, I want them out of juice. I want them still level 1, and I just want to be building grunts. And I want to be building grunts. Because look, I'm just doing damage on the Demon Hunter. Not even going to try to hit these archers. Why? Because they can shadow meld. It's daytime, and it's nighttime. It's always going to be nighttime at this stage of the game. Soulburn is not 75 mana, it's 65 mana. So, get wrecked. Soulburn means you have to run away, and it's my favorite part of the game. Just watch how it happens. Hide would be worth it now, but we don't go for the hide. Just turn back. What is there to do? Get the orb walk. Nice. This Grunt has salve and a clarity potion coming here. Archer dies to Grunt. There you go. GG. Now, there's obviously things the Night Elf can do there, right? I think building the second Ancient works. I think the moment you see the early Grunt, you like should probably respond by building an extra Ancient of War, because you're like, well, that can't be good. But there's also other things. Like, first of all, the Night Elf isn't dead here in any way, shape, or form. I've had Night Elf opponents just rebuild the Demon Hunter, which they can, cycle out Wisp, you know, do the whole like defensive Night Elf thing. But at the same time, it's a really good position for me. I could just tech right now, and I'm pretty sure I could just tech faster if I wanted to as well, because I had the lumber. But nice. So here's this strategy, and I have other games of it. Maybe we can see that, right? Do we see if we have some other games of the strategy? Alright, well, turns out we got them. Turns out we got more Night Elf Firelord games, so we can just go over the strat, right? Maybe we'll do this one only seeing my vision for the first half, because I believe I'm a little slow on the get on this one, so it's good to see a different pace. That last game I was able to keep the Demon Hunter at level 1, and now we're going to see, I think, what happens when I don't succeed in doing that. Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, get up now, wake up now. Shoutouts to you, Dr. Jones. We got a Grunt opening, and I love when I see 13 out of 21 food, because I know my second Grunt is going to neatly make that 16 out of 21. So you see here I'm going for an early shop. And I prefer the early shop because I think this ensures that by the time I think the third or second Grunt, I think the third Grunt comes out, he can pick up some salves. The only thing that I sometimes mess up on, though, is I think this peon interaction. So in the comments, I know I got some Warcraft 3 fans. I just believe that this situation can be done better, as in, like, the peon coming here for the hero buy. That's like a safety net. That's like I don't want to be late. But at the same time, that slows down my wood, which needs to be a burrow right now. Yeah, there you go. Good. But like the burrow could have been faster if I didn't have to run this. The Grunt's a little late. But so I see that the Firelord's out. That's fine. Allows my Grunt to still potentially get the item steal, which I'm trying to do. My Firelord was slowed down by that wisp a bit, and I see, nope, there's no item steal, so I'm just out. And because there's no item steal, like, there's not much for me to do here, so I just start the rush. Yep, start the rush. Second Grunt here is rallied to buy the item, and my peon should not be going out to attack, but here we are. This is a missed micro peon. Yeah, go back to work. And see, we don't prevent the level 2. So, but we still have to just burn down the Demon Hunter, because this is what the rush needs. We need those Moonwells to be empty, and we need the Demon Hunter to be in a perilous state. But oh look, the Night Elf has Cloak of Shadows. So you know how I said that you need to go for the Demon Hunter because he can't hide? Well, in this game he can hide. So we're still attacking this archer. Can't hide yet, because it's day. So great, but we don't want to get too close into this situation. So we just immediately go for Wisp. This is, by the way, I'm going to slow it down. Whenever you're trying to punish a Night Elf, I like to really spread the damage here, because you don't want to get detonated and lose mana and get no experience, right? But that's what's going to happen if you just attack the Wisp one by one. So you might as well spread the damage, send one Wisp there, send one there, and then don't even try to chase that one, and then send one Grunt here. This is really the way to do it, because yeah, sure, you get one detonate, you get two detonates, but like there's some chaos here. Eventually you just take them all off, so there's no lumber mining here. And oh, nice. Very nice there, Dr. Jones. So I'm trying to push Dr. Jones's micro, but you're doing a good job. The cancel too. But look, the moment the Demon Hunter got in, it's always a race. Mana burn versus soul burn. You have to soul burn first, because this damage is what you need. This damage is what gives you a head on the race, because the Moonwells are still drained. Now, you may be asking yourself, man, this rush seems ineffective. Why are there no grunts? Yeah, because this grunt has been mismicroed. Same with this grunt. So both of these grunts were late. You know, I'm not a pro player. I'm at like the 1400 MMR range. I'm currently 39 and 39 in W3 champ. So like we make these mistakes, right? This would have been so much more strong if these grunts were on time, but they weren't. I need to get this rally situated. I hope I did right there, and we at least get time to heal. But I'm thinking this is bad. I have zero experience. I haven't slowed down the Demon Hunter as much as I need to. But what am I doing? Still rushing. I'm telling you. Because even if you're not able to kill the Demon Hunter, what are you trying to do? Drain these Moonwells. You're just trying to have them kind of waste their Moonwells on healing this kind of ineffective level 2 Demon Hunter. I kind of believe that Grunts, you know, they're my favorite unit in the game. But they're not the best unit, and the reason they're not the best unit is because they can get kited everywhere. But when you play with them in this early stage of the game, and you only attack your opponent's base, I think Grunts have this nice way to use all of their effective HP, because you can't really kite it. You can't really, you know, like run away. What? The Grunts are in your base. Shoutouts to healing, salving a Grunt, and then putting him out of range. It's always good. This is just mismicro here. Why are you attacking the altar? Good. We get back on the Demon Hunter once he gets in range. And yeah, this is what I mean, you know. Eventually the archers can't hide. And this is just great. This is what grunts want to be. You know, you got to use that big HP to get into melee range. So that's where we are at this point. Nice focus fire on me. I think correct. And I TP here, yeah. So I sense that I'm going to TP, but you know we needed to kill all the archers before we're out. So this is very good. Make no mistake. The opponent's not dead, but that does not mean the opponent is not dead. We killed all sorts of archers. We essentially, remember when we were level 1 with 0 experience? Well, now we're level 2. So we just killed your archers. And I actually like this play by my opponent. You know you're behind. Your tier 2 just finished. Most of the time you'd go keeper, but I think you have a feeling I'm just going to be in your base again. So you creep. But see, this is why I think it's important to me. I'm just going straight to my opponent's base. Now, if I had to critique my own play here, and for anyone trying to improve this build, because I know you can, I sometimes get a little food stuck, right? Because I just forget my burrows in the face of orc micro. But the good thing is, with this build, if you do get in this situation and you're food stuck, you can still use your barracks and upgrade a brute strength. That's very important, because it just makes use of your resources, and it also is very effective because you have so many grunts. That's the other thing. The healing salves early from all of your back grunts, it's crucial to use those salves greedily and maximize your gold. You know, like, you're not going to be building tier 2 buildings. You're only going to be building a hero, right? See, the peon's going in for the hero. So when the burrow's done, this hero can honestly help finish this assault. Would be nice if I had pillage, but you know, pillage, that's a luxury we don't always have. So I wonder when the hero... Oh yeah, good. A little late on the pillage, but I'm glad I'm thinking the right thing. So we see the fight here, and you immediately always go for the Demon Hunter. The reason you need to always go for the Demon Hunter is because, like, I want this battle to be about him not using his hero. I don't even want him to think about attacking my hero. So Soulburn, I think, does a good job of that. Note the Grunt is still on the Demon Hunter. That's important. Passive damage. Really don't want to get the kills easy, so nice to run away here. Really important small, like, micro there, just to make it hard for them to kill. Grunt is still on the Demon Hunter, important note there. And look, the Naga, you know, Naga can come in and really end things, so to speak. Beautiful. Note, Grunt still on the Demon Hunter, important there. And you notice how the Moonwells, they did nothing. The Moonwells did nothing. You see, Night Elf doesn't have Healing Salve. I have Healing Salve. So I don't want to even face Night Elves by the time they get bears. You know, like, why should the Night Elves get tier 3? So you may be thinking, oh man, wow, this rush. What if you know it's coming? But what if I told you I'm going to play this Night Elf opponent we just saw again? I match up with them again. And you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So what are we doing? Firelord rushing, let's go. Alright, here we are once again from the perspective of Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones. And it is your boy Derazion on the 1 and the 2s, on the mic, on the hot seat, making it look cool. We are once again hitting that Firelord rush. Barracks first, we trust. And kill the Night Elf opponent, we must. Yeah, we can't let them get to tier 3. It's just unacceptable. I don't have the micro to disenchant Spirit Walker. I mean, I just not my unit. I love the Spirit Walker, but it's just tough to control. I'm always keeping them in ephemeral form when they're not supposed to be. And I know so much of Orc Micro is using disenchant well. You have to disenchant the Entangle Roots. You got to disenchant the Rejuvenation. God forbid you got to disenchant the Cyclones. It's a mess. So instead, you decide to just mass Grunts. And this is the same opponent, by the way, who I just played. So conceivably, my opponent knows this is happening. So let's see it from my opponent's perspective. Now, listen, I know before I have any Night Elves in my comments saying, oh, this rush is garbage, I could beat you with it. You know what? Yeah, maybe. But I say this strategy gets better the lower your MMR is. You know, and I think an equally skilled Orc pulling off the strategy and practicing it, I do think this strategy has the ability to scale with MMR, but also in the reverse. All my low MMR Orcs do this strategy. Don't even attempt to fight Night Elves past a certain point. Now the Fun Police Grunt gets a big oof there. Not fast enough to get the item, just slow enough to get entangled, and you're just goofing it up here. But what do? We're at least slowing down the Demon Hunter, in theory, right? In theory, we're slowing down the Demon Hunter, yeah, but we are just taking chops. Not my favorite. So this is my opponent's perspective. You see it coming, and I like my opponent's decision here. Just build a double Ancient of War here. Not sure if you'd always do that before. Missed an important detail, but my opponent used a Wisp to dispel the Soulburn there, and I like to see that, right? Improving, but it doesn't do much. It just has you down a Wisp, which is great for me in the sense that I'm just trying to deny you resources, and the Firelord doesn't really need mana. I'm just Soulburning on command, but it really is nice to just have the same armor class as the Demon Hunter. It's really important, and because you're a ranged hero, well, at this stage of the game, you're just kind of ranged Demon Hunter, and that's how I play it. So you just, all these attacks are good. You may have gotten a mana burn on me, but I've gotten 3 auto attacks on you. So let's take a look at my macro, because any Orc looking to improve on this strategy, that's the way to improve it, right? Find a better use of peons, make a better voodoo lounge in a better position, send that peon back faster, right? But you'd always have to push your grunts to the limit, right? The grunts need to be low HP because you need to be expending your opponent's Moonwell. If this grunt lives, then we are so winning. There you go. That's what you want. You want these grunts to not die. Because we're trying to push that heavy armor buff versus piercing. So look, nice situation. What happens? Moonwells drained. Uh-oh. Empty Moonwells. It's almost as if at this point, my tempo healing salves with, again, this rush could be improved with a little better control back at home, the grunts going straight to the hero. But watch, this healing salve value now is out of control. Just out of control value. We decide to turn on the archers here because we know we're not going to lose a grunt, I suppose. Maybe we're going to get a deny. Okay, good. We do get the deny. Almost going to nab my lesser clarity potion, but I get it. He does get a kill on that grunt. So, hey, he's very smart by Dr. Jones. Clearly learning from this strat. Knows my voodoo lounge and the salves are going to be there. So, imagine if my Night Elf opponent didn't come and kind of attack there. Yes, I killed one archer, two archers, but you also killed those grunts. You got one deny off by me, which was very helpful. And, wait, I think I only killed one archer. Or is an archer 20 experience? There's no way an archer's only 20 experience. Okay, so that's one archer down, one grunt down, one grunt denied. And my opponent seems to be faring better, right? Building more archers. But the Moonwells, they're still dry. So the rush is still on. Grunts production at home. Let's see if I'm still going to be late on food. Would really like to see a faster orc burrow there. And my opponent, though, we have successfully slowed down the Demon Hunter, right? All of this fighting and all of this middle of the road. I see what my opponent's doing, maybe trying to push it to me instead, but I don't like that. I think you should be creeping. Opponent gets Boots of Speed. That's a pretty good item, considering I'm always soul burning you. At the moment I see the Demon Hunter here, yeah, it's time to run. If the Demon Hunter wasn't there, I'm probably still attacking your archers because I'm just trying to drain your healing. This is bad to see. Nighttime and all these healing wells. Just trying to rush down the Hunter's Hall, but you are here. Soulburn. Okay, this is a Soulburn before the mana burn there, but you know this isn't the best, right? This isn't the best. We're still level 1 versus level 1, but notice the fundamentals of the strat, right? Like we're not trying to kill these archers. We're just trying to do damage on the Demon Hunter. Soulburn is doing its thing. You know, the Night Elf opponent doesn't have any catch yet, no entangle. This is a Demon Hunter, anti-Demon Hunter strat. So, you know, the healing salves are just big game. Oh, look at these grunts. Miss microed here. So I kind of love to see the Firelord games where I don't play perfectly because I really do think it should give you guys watching some inspiration. Because like, wow, if I just improve, imagine if my grunts were there. But, you know, you eventually get punished for not having a hero that can fight. You know, the Clarity Potion is nice here because it ensures I can get at least 2 more Soul Burns, I think. Soul Burn? Yeah, you see, that's very important, you Soul Burn. I miss the micro because, by the way, I'm just not good at surround, so I think I need to get better here. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, come on. Yikes. And I don't even go for it because this is great for me. I hear that cock-a-doodle-doo. The Murlocs. Give it up for the Murlocs, right? So we got 1 archer down, 2 archer down. We're really trying to save the grunts. Demon Hunter is going to get that kill with the boots, but we are hearing archers die, which is great. Dude, we don't want to be creeping now. The Murloc are our allies in this archer slaying spree. And looks like we both got level 2 from that. But the dust is nice for me. Building more grunts. The spirit, the Tauren totem there is a rare tier 2 tech building. I think I feel in my bones this is probably going to go to the distance because the rush isn't like crippling, but you see where the strategy does well. Grunts that aren't quite dying but are low HP. You're going to see the Naga, very nice timed. It's also why you need to be teching on time because your second hero is important. Once he TPs, that gives me the time to salve up these grunts. Salve up this grunt, please. Yes, so salves doing their thing. I'm getting ×3 healing value here. Nice cancel there by my opponent. You canceled that one. But this is just great. You know how I was saying grunts are good, but only if they can't get kited? Well, you have to contend with this 825 HP, and both of these range heroes have nice double orb damage. You get the cold arrows plus incinerate. It's about time the grunts got back from their vacation here. Did some damage on the keeper, but you just see how, like, I feel as if my micro, not the best, not like superior micro, I mean it's sometimes pretty decent, but I really think that it just is positioned well against the way Night Elves seem to play. You know, they seem to really rely on the Demon Hunter to creep, so if the Demon Hunter gets low HP, like, that's a tough situation to be in for the Night Elf, and that's kind of the whole strategy. Alright, let's get the Demon Hunter to a low HP, and if you say, okay, well, that's hard to do, the Demon Hunter is so strong, well, when's the Demon Hunter not strong? When he's low level? Okay, well, our strategy needs to slow down the Demon Hunter at all times. Well, how do you do that? What if we build a Grunt as fast as possible, be really annoying, and make sure it doesn't die, right? So we deny experience here, we lose some HP on a Grunt, but we have healing salves, right? So if you think about buying a healing salve to slow down experience on the Demon Hunter, that's what we're doing. That's the early game. So I like how my opponent's not leaving here, because yeah, grunts really are that bad. If you can kill my heroes with the keeper, you can kill all 3 of those grunts with just 1 keeper. So yeah, the game's not over until the keeper's dead, but you know, this is just way too much damage. Send a grunt on a hero and forget. That is game. Yeah. So there you have it. I think it's an interesting strategy, and I like all-in strategies against Night Elf, because I think Night Elf, they're already kind of fragile in the early game. I mean, come on, their workers can't even attack. We got to take advantage of that somehow. And I also just love the back advantage. I love how this strategy like has several moments of high swing tempo potential. One of them being when the grunt can possibly get the last hit and, you know, steal the item. It has some shorts that show that, but I digress. This has been that strategy. Hope you guys enjoy it, and on to the next video, right? Peace.